Welcome, students. I am Aurora, the artificial intelligence system on Spacegate Station. In this episode, you will be reviewing the carbon cycle and the relationship that cellular respiration, photosynthesis, and the conservation of matter have in this process. Stand by for transfer.
Aurora, could you please initiate the recording for Martian Regolith Experiment 109?
I am initiating recording, Dr. Carafano.
Thank you, Aurora. Well, Professor, as you can see, these plants have been growing in Martian regolith for 45 days. And as you can tell, the ones I have selected seem to be doing extremely well. I think we can attribute it to the carbon-enriched fertilizer we're using to treat the soil.
Processing. Carbon is one of the most important chemical elements on Earth. It makes up only about 0.025% of Earth's crust. Carbon combines with other elements very easily to form substances called compounds. Carbon compounds make up 18% of all the matter in living beings and are also present in rocks, oceans, and the atmosphere.
Correct, Aurora. After all, carbon is one of the most important elements on Earth.
You're right, Professor. Carbon is an extremely important element we have to consider when we're trying to grow plants on Mars. You know, when we even evaluate the idea of growing plants in an extraterrestrial environment, we have to look closely at what allows plants to grow on Earth so that we can create plants that will thrive.
Are you referring to the carbon cycle?
Yes, exactly. And as a matter of fact, there are so many components in the carbon cycle, we have to actually evaluate each one of them.
The carbon cycle describes the process in which carbon atoms continually travel from the atmosphere to the Earth and then back into the atmosphere. Since our planet and its atmosphere form a closed environment, the amount of carbon in this system does not change.
Correct, Aurora. As a matter of fact, Professor, Aurora touched on a very important concept, which is called the conservation of matter.
Processing. The law of conservation of matter says that matter cannot be created or destroyed, only changed through a physical or chemical process. All the matter in the world that has ever existed still exists today. It is just constantly changing over time from one form to another.
Correct, Aurora. You know, Professor, sometimes during an experiment, it seems that matter disappears. But that's not true. Matter doesn't magically appear or disappear. It only changes.
And this relates to the carbon cycle because all the carbon that's on Earth now is the same carbon that's always been on Earth. And another thing, Dr. Carafano, is the carbon cycle is an easy process to remember.
You are correct, Professor Schnauz. There are 5 basic components that describe the process. All the carbon atoms on the Earth are used repeatedly. They cycle between the Earth and the atmosphere. Plants pull carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and use it to make food. The carbon becomes part of the plant, which is stored food. When organisms eat plants, they take in the carbon and some of it becomes part of their own bodies. When plants and animals die, most of their bodies are decomposed and carbon atoms are returned to the atmosphere. If the carbon is in rocks or the ocean, it can also be released very slowly into the atmosphere. This carbon cycle process can take many years. It repeats over and over and over and over.
Thank you, Aurora. You know, Professor, Aurora touched on 2 very important concepts when she was talking about the carbon cycle that we have to consider when working with plants.
I assume you're referring to photosynthesis and cellular respiration?
Exactly. Those 2 concepts are very important when we're trying to grow plants in Martian regolith, right, Aurora?
Cellular respiration occurs in both plants and animals and is very similar. The difference is the method of how they obtain their energy. Animals get their energy by eating food, digesting it, and using oxygen to turn it into a special sugar known as glucose. This glucose is used as energy for cells to perform their work. When the energy is used, these cells produce carbon dioxide and water as a waste product. Plants, instead of eating the food, assemble the food themselves using the energy from sunlight, carbon dioxide or CO2 from the air, and water from the soil. This process is known as photosynthesis. Plants take carbon dioxide and water and use sunlight to break the molecules and turn them into glucose for the cell to use. The byproduct of this process is oxygen and excess water, which is given off by the plant.
That was a great explanation, Aurora. You see, Professor, it's understanding concepts like these that allow us to learn how to grow plants on other planets.
For example, growing food on Mars will be very difficult.
That is correct, Professor Schnauz. Mars has an atmosphere 100 times thinner than Earth, only half the amount of sunlight, no known accessible fresh water, and average temperatures of negative 81 degrees Fahrenheit. Martian soil has some of the nutrients plants need to grow and survive, and the atmosphere has significant amounts of CO2. However, there are also toxic chemicals called perchlorate in the soil that must be managed for plants to grow.
That's right, Aurora. And that's why it's so important we conduct experiments like this, so that someday we'll be able to support a colony on Mars.
Agreed. And now I think it's time for us to start gathering our data for this research trial.
I completely agree. Why don't you go ahead and start evaluating the pH of the soil, and I'll start getting my plant measurements.
This concludes our latest episode of Spacegate Station. Please join us on our continuing adventures as the crew of Spacegate Station provides engaging enrichment or remediation-based instruction to improve your understanding of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, terminating communication with Earth.